Hi Year 6, Mrs Cox going to read again the book above pay grade, The Boy with the Bronze Axe. Today I'm going to be reading chapter 3, pages 38 to 45. If you scroll down just underneath this video link, then you'll see the orange page again with the questions already printed on there for you to have a pre-read if you want. Stop the video and have a look now if you want to. Okay, so far we've found out that Tenko has already had a bit of a falling out with Carwyn and Tresco in the tribe because Carwyn tried to steal his bronze axe. But that's all been sorted out at the meeting place with Lokar, and Berno has agreed to accept Tenko as his son, and he's now become part of the tribe. Chapter 3, The Day of the Eagle. The following day, Berno's family woke with the coming of the light as it filtered through the wide hole in the roof, which let the smoke out. Stempsy rose first, poking the peats into a blaze with the leg bone of an ox. She raked out the embers to a smouldering glow and set a large earthenware bowl among them. In the bowl was a stew of pieces of mutton. Callie rose when she heard her mother stirring and fetched another large bowl from the stone dresser. "Where are you going?" Tenko asked as she passed his bed. "To milk our cows." "Wait for me, I'll come with you." Tenko pulled his wolf-skin cloak about him. "Can you milk a cow?" Callie asked him. Tenko grinned at her. "In my tribe over the sea, the men go hunting, not milking cows." "Now you're one of our family, you can make yourself useful," Callie retorted. "There's another bowl on the stone dresser. Bring it with you." The early mists of morning swirled around the two figures as they climbed the sand dunes to the two small fields behind the settlement. The cows and sheep were kept there during the night in enclosures bounded by a stone wall. Already, Salik, the herdsman, was there. He grunted a sleepy greeting to Callie and then woke up at the sight of Tenko. "Ah, your new brother, from the stranger from over the sea," he said. Tenko nodded warily. He wondered how the men of the tribe would regard him after the previous night. "You did well at the meeting place last night," Salik commented. "Now let us see if you can do as well with the milking. I should let him try his hand on the black cow, Callie." There was a twinkle in Salik's eye. "I will do that." There was a twinkle in Callie's eye too. She led Tenko over to the black cow. "There, kneel beneath her and milk her into that bowl." Callie busied herself with another cow, and under the pressure of her accustomed fingers, the milk began to flow readily into her bowl. But Tenko was having difficulty with the black cow. As soon as he placed the bowl beneath her and knelt down, she moved away. Tenko was left kneeling and looking up at the open sky. Salik chuckled. No, the milk does not come like rain from heaven. It comes from the cow." Tenko was annoyed at first. Then he joined in the laugh against himself. He tried once again. This time, the black cow stood still, but there was a wicked look in the corner of her eye. She began to yield her milk, but when the bowl was half full, she suddenly became restive. She kicked up her hind legs and sent a shower of dirt straight into the bowl. Then she moved away again, overturning the bowl with her foot. Tenko was furious and caught hold of the cow by the tail. Callie moved her bowl and left her own cow. "Easy now, Tenko. If you make the cow angry, she will give you no more milk." She rescued the upturned bowl, wiped it out with a handful of clean grass, and resolutely set to work on the black cow herself. "It looks so easy when you milk her," Tenko said ruefully. "I hate to be defeated by anything." "Come then, and kneel beside me, and when I release my hold, you go on milking her," Callie suggested. Tenko did as he was told, and took over the milking from Callie. The cow remained docile, and at last the bowl was half filled. Today, question 1, our retrieval question, is what does the word docile suggest about how the cow was moving and behaving as Tenko milked it. So it says, "Come then and kneel beside me, and when I release my hold, you go on milking her," Callie suggested. Tenko did as he was told and took over the milking from Callie. The cow remained docile, and at last the bowl was half filled. What do you think it means when it said the cow remained docile? So, in this context, it's talking about the fact that the cow is now remaining calm and quiet and behaving while he continues to milk the cow. Callie is very good at milking the cows. She's had lots of experience. And when she puts her hands around the cow doesn't mind because her fingers are used to working and milking the cow properly. Tenko is probably a bit fumbly and probably grips a little too tight, and the cow doesn't like that. So when he follows on from Callie and copies her, the cow just thinks it is still Callie milking because he's learned, and so it stays calm. At last the bowl was half filled. "That is as much as she will give," Callie told Tenko. Tenko came from beneath the cow with the bowl. He looked ruefully from Callie's bowl to his own. "I am not very good at milking," he said. "No doubt you are better at the hunting," she laughed. They returned to the little stone village. Stempsy was kneeling at the peat fire. She was grilling streaks of mutton at the end of her long pointed bone poker. As she cooked each one, she set it on a slate slab to cool a little. Bruno was already tearing at his meat with strong white teeth. Brocken was gnawing the meat from the bone. Stempsy looked up when the two children came in. They set the 2 dishes of milk down on the dresser. Stempsy eyed Tenko's half-filled bowl. "There is not so much milk as usual," she said. Tenko coloured. "That is my fault. I am not used to milking cows." Bruno guffawed in amusement. "So, the black cow got the better of you." Tenko looked vexed, but Callie spoke for him. "In his own country, the men do not herd cattle and milk cows. They are hunters." Bruno looked at Tenko with interest. "There may be hunting for you to do here. Some animal or bird has been attacking the lambs on the hillsides when we pasture them there. Kill the attacker for us, and we shall believe you are a hunter." "I will go out with the herdsman and do what I can," Tenko said quietly. "I have my arrows, but I have no bow. That was washed out from my boat in the sea at storm. There are no trees here from which I can cut another bow." "There are bushes by the lake of Scale. Their shoots will bend, but do not break easily," Bruno told him. "You have seen bows and arrows then?" "Yes, I have seen them. Some of the tribes on the hills in the centre of our island hunt the deer. We trade cowhides with them for their deer horns. See?" Bruno lifted a stone axe from the keeping place hollowed out of the wall beyond his bed. His stone axe was wedged into a piece of deer antler, used as a haft. Lines were chiselled on the stone in a pleasing pattern of squares and diagonals over the centre of the axe head. Tenko turned it over in his hand. "It is beautifully carved," he said with admiration. "My father is the best stone carver on the island," Brocken told him proudly. "You will need a bowstring too," Bruno said, returning to the matter of Tenko's bow. "That is easily found." He felt again in the keeping place. "Here are some sheep sinews. They will stretch into a bow, see? Callie and Brocken will take you to the lake. You can cut your bush shoots from there." "Then I will make my new bow today," Tenko said gladly. "It is on the way to the hill of Gyron, where we are going to pasture the sheep. It is our turn to look after the Skara flock today," Callie said. "You, as my new son, will go with them," Bruno decided. "I will do that," Tenko said, well pleased to be called Bruno's son. They finished their breakfasts of mutton and milk. "As you go to the herds, you will pass through the village, Tenko. Speak with all the people that you see," Bruno instructed him. Tenko frowned a little. "Must I do that? They may not wish to speak with me because I am a stranger." You are no longer a stranger apart. You are one of our tribe now, and you will act as one of our tribe, Berno said firmly. You will speak in peace to my people. Tenko nodded his head obediently. The three children made their way along the passage to the meeting place. There, Lokar, the old wise man, was sitting in the sun. Tenko did not hesitate. He went up to him, but respectfully waited until Lokar spoke to him first. Our explain question today is, explain why Tenko waited until Lokar spoke to him before he spoke when they met at the meeting place. So we've just read that bit. Why did Tenko wait before he spoke to Lokar until Lokar had actually greeted him first? It says, there, Lokar, the old wise man, was sitting in the sun. Tenko did not hesitate. He went up to him, but respectfully waited until Lokar spoke first to him. Have a think about why he may have waited. So, Lokar is the old wise man of the tribe. He's like the chief of the tribe, really, and everybody respects him because of his wisdom and the experience that he has amongst the tribe people. It would be rude for Tenko to speak to him first, because he is an elder, and so Tenko waited for Lokar to address him first, so that he was showing him the respect he deserved. Well, Tenko, son of Berno, Lokar said with a smile, I thank you, Lokar, for speaking for me before the tribe last night. As long as you obey the laws of our tribe and do your duty as a son of Berno, you will always have my good word, Tenko. He laid his hand on Tenko's shoulder and stooped and looked him in the eyes. Go in friendship among my people and yours, Tenko. Already the people of the settlement were going about their work for the day. Some women were sitting in the sand, others were busy scraping clean the inside of sheepskins with flint. Others, with bone needles, were piercing holes and fastening skins together by threads made from animal tendons. These would be tunics and cloaks for their families. A midden heap was built up around the outer walls of the settlement. It contained limpet shells, animal bones, scraps of food mingled with ashes from the peat fires. An unpleasant odour rose from it, which might have been worse but for the peat ash, but the people of Skara did not appear to notice it. Perhaps they had lived beside it for too long. The middens served to strengthen the stone walls of the huts against the strong west wind. In a hut near the wall, Lemba, the potter, had his workshop. He was busy shaping the wet clay into dishes and bowls. With his thumb, he made a narrow lip around each bowl, marking it with the claw of a bird. Then he drew a pattern of lines. Where other huts had a stone dresser, Lemba's had a stone oven. Below it was a fire of glowing red peats. Clay dishes had been set to dry beside it. They watched Lemba stack them into the oven to bake them into earthenware. He looked around when at last he became aware of the children. Hello, Tenko, he said with a friendly grin. Are you coming to learn how to make bowls? Tenko smiled back, but shook his head. No, I am going with Callie and Brocken to herd the flocks. You are a good potter, though. I like this bowl very much. Tenko picked up one with a pattern of spiral lines upon it. I have never seen a pattern like this before. No, that is a pattern out of my own head. I do not always keep to the old patterns of my tribe. I like to try new things, Lemba told him. I wish I had a bowl like that, Tenko said as he handed it back. Some day, maybe, I will make you one just like it, when you have done a deed which deserves it, Lemba said lightly. He looked hard at Tenko. But you are carrying arrows under your arm. That does not look like much of a herdsman. For a moment, Tenko looked sad. In my land over the sea, my father was a great hunter, and he was teaching me all the things he knew. Now he is no more, and Berno has become my father, so I must learn new ways." Then, like the boy that he was, he grew cheerful again. "All the same, there may be a chance to do some hunting of the creature that is attacking the flocks once I have made a new bow." "Good hunting then, Tenko," Lemba laughed. He continued drawing patterns on the newly made bowls. Other men were ready to set out with Berno over to the grasslands to the east. "They're going to work my father at hewing a new stone for the temple to the sun god which they are building at Brodgar," Callie explained. Before they left, the stoneworkers greeted Tenko. "Good day, son of Berno." Tenko spoke respectfully to them all in turn. Only Tresco and Carwin held aloof, scowling. Tenko took no notice of them. Our inference question today is, why were all the people treating Tenko with such respect? Have a think about everything we've learned about him and about how he fits in now in the village. Why do you think that all the people he met on that day were treating him with respect? He was, after all, a stranger. So, the way that they were treating him with respect is probably because, as Berno said, he's accepted him as his son, and so now Tenko is one of the tribe, and he is behaving as one of the tribe. Already, he's been part of some ruling about what happened with Carwin, and the way he conducted himself there in a fair way and standing up for Brocken to make sure that Brocken didn't get hurt proves that he has integrity and that he is worthy of people's respect. So already the things that he's done and the way that Berno has accepted him into his family is showing the rest of the tribespeople that Tenko is somebody that can be trusted and respected. The children left the village and went to the stone-walled sheep paddocks. The animals were bleating inside, anxious to go out to the new pastures. "Help me lift the stone away, Tenko," Callie asked. Together they shifted the large stone slab that did duty for a gate. The sheep came pouring through the gap. Lifting their arms and shouting, the children urged the flock along and over the low hill towards the lock of scale. Now and again they stopped to let the sheep rest and nibble at the grass. They topped a rise and came on the shining, placid lock of scale. On the shore and leaning over the lake was a clump of osiers. "There are the long shoots for your bow," Callie pointed out. She took a flint knife from the bag that she carried with her and handed it to Tenko. Tenko ran down to the willow bushes and carefully selected 2 of the shoots which looked supple. He cut them out near the base and then bent them across his knee to test their springiness. "Yes, these will do," he told Callie. Callie was carrying the lengths of animal sinews in her bag. She selected one that was smooth and even. Tenko nodded approval. With his flint knife, he notched one of the osier ones at each end. Then he inserted the end of the tendon into it and knotted it so that it would not slip out again. He did the same with the other end. Now he had a stringed bow. He pulled it gently apart and inserted an arrow. Yes, it was springy enough. He took aim at a clump of heather. In a second his arrow was quivering, point buried in the centre of the clump. "It is not so strong as the bow I had, but it shoots truly, and it will serve," Tenko said. They turned southwards, driving the flock before them. The land rose in green slopes curling round between 2 low hills. "That is Gyron," Callie said, pointing out the easterly hill. "We will pasture the sheep on the slopes this side. There are plenty of young heather shoots for them to eat, besides the grass. We'll let the sheep go free now." The sheep began to scatter over the hill slope. The children sat down on a little outcrop of rocks to watch them. Below them, the land sloped to the lock of scale. When they looked westward, they could see the beehive roofs of Skara and the peat smoke curling up from behind them. Behind Skara lay the wide curve of the Bay of Scale. The white sand of its southern shore gleamed in the sun, and the grey slaty rocks of its northern point stood out against the blue-grey sky. Headland after headland stretched away until lost in the mist, the deep blue sea curling and creaming at their rocky feet. The sun mounting high in the heavens warmed the grass. From the clumps of flowering gorse came the hum of bees. That's the end of page 45. So in the next section we'll be reading the rest of chapter 3. I hope you enjoyed that, and we're going to find out, I guess, why the chapter is called The Day of the Eagle.